The moment he defended her, she was already breaking the deal behind his back. Not privately. Not accidentally. Publicly. And the proof? It was sitting on a website the entire time. While he sacrificed everything to protect her, she was using the one thing she promised, in writing, never to use again. That's the part nobody can ignore anymore. Because this story isn't really about a title. It's about trust. Manipulation. And the moment a prince may finally realize what was happening around him all along. For years, Prince Harry defended Meghan against everyone. The media? Smear campaign. Royal concerns? Jealousy. Family warnings? Cruelty. Anyone who questioned her motives instantly became the enemy. And Harry didn't just defend her quietly. He burned bridges for her. Publicly. Completely. He walked away from the royal family. From his country. From lifelong relationships. From the institution built by his grandmother. All because he believed he was protecting the woman he loved. But while he was fighting for her, something else was happening behind the scenes. Something documented. Something undeniable. Back during the Sandringham Agreement, Harry and Meghan reportedly agreed to stop using their HRH titles commercially. The deal was simple. Keep the Duke and Duchess titles, but don't monetize the royal status. Clear. Direct. Final. And for a while, it seemed like everyone had moved on. Until the internet noticed something strange. An Instagram post. A public appearance. A correction on camera. Tiny moments on their own. But together? They painted a very different picture. Because according to critics, Meghan continued leaning into the royal identity she had agreed not to use. And the most explosive part? Harry appeared completely unaware of how far it had gone. Imagine realizing that while you were defending someone against the entire world, they were quietly doing the exact thing everyone warned you about. That changes everything. And people close to the palace reportedly understood the implications immediately. One royal source allegedly reacted with brutal honesty. You'd have to be an idiot to think she didn't know exactly what she was doing. Not careless. Not accidental. Intentional. That's what made this situation feel different. Because it wasn't one isolated incident. It became a pattern. And once people started looking back, they noticed the same pattern everywhere. Former friends disappearing overnight. Staff resigning one after another. Business partnerships collapsing. Relationships ending the moment they stopped being useful. Even online, people created a term for it. Markled. A slang term describing someone who gets abandoned once they've served their purpose. Harsh? Absolutely. But the reason the word spread so quickly is because people believed they kept seeing the same cycle repeat itself. Friends of decades suddenly cut off. Confidants erased from public life. Employees leaving at an alarming rate. Reports claimed nearly 18 staff departures in just a few years. Think about that. 18. Royal aides. Communications staff. Assistants. Some allegedly quit during tours. Others reportedly stayed far longer than planned because replacements couldn't be found. And through all of it, Harry continued standing in front of cameras insisting the criticism was unfair. That's what makes this story tragic to so many people watching from the outside. Because Harry wasn't acting like someone trying to destroy his life. He looked like someone trying to save it. And that may be exactly why he couldn't see what others believed was happening. People often forget something important about Harry. Before Meghan entered the picture, he was already carrying enormous emotional scars. The loss of Princess Diana shaped his entire life. Not just emotionally, psychologically. The loneliness. The anger. The distrust of the press. The feeling of being misunderstood. Those wounds never fully disappeared. And many believe Meghan entered his life speaking directly to those wounds. She understood his pain, validated his frustrations, made him feel protected. To Harry, she may have seemed like the first person who truly understood him. Which is why every criticism of her probably felt deeply personal. Not like an attack on Meghan. An attack on the one person who made him feel safe. And that's where this story becomes bigger than royal drama. Because millions of people have experienced some version of this in their own lives. Defending someone. Ignoring warnings. Believing loyalty means refusing to question anything. Until one day, the evidence becomes impossible to ignore. That's the moment many people believe Harry may be approaching now. Because the business side of this story only made things worse. The Spotify deal collapsed publicly. Not quietly. Publicly. Executives reportedly called the partnership disappointing, with one executive famously labeling them grifters, a comment that exploded across headlines worldwide. Then came the Netflix struggles. Projects stalled. Deals weakened. Momentum faded. Even publishing relationships reportedly cooled after the initial success of Harry's memoir. One by one, the empire that was supposed to redefine their future started looking unstable. And critics pointed to one uncomfortable reality. Almost every major deal was built around royal identity. The titles mattered. The connection mattered. The royal story was the product. Which created an even bigger problem. Because if the monarchy ever formally distances itself further, what remains underneath? That's the question quietly hanging over everything now. And according to reports, Prince William has not forgotten any of it. Behind palace walls, there's growing speculation about what happens when William eventually becomes king. Because unlike Harry, William stayed. He protected the institution. Protected the monarchy. Protected the rules. And sources claim William views this entire situation very differently than his brother does. One phrase reportedly captured his mindset perfectly. A way will be found. Not if. When. And suddenly, people started asking the question nobody wanted to ask before. What happens if Harry finally realizes the cost of everything he gave up? Because that's the heartbreaking part. At the center of all this chaos is still a man who lost his mother at 12 years old. A man who spent decades searching for peace, protection, and belonging. Many people see anger when they look at Harry. Others see grief that never healed. And maybe both are true. But if there's one thing this entire saga reveals, it's how powerful emotional vulnerability can become in the wrong hands. Especially when someone learns exactly how to speak to your deepest pain. Princess Diana reportedly spent years warning her sons about people who seek proximity to power rather than genuine connection. People who love what being with you provides, more than they love you. And whether those warnings apply here is something only Harry himself truly knows. But critics believe the signs have been there for years. The disappearing friendships. The collapsing staff structure. The public contradictions. The commercial branding. The constant drama. Each controversy added another crack to the image Harry was defending. Until eventually, the cracks became impossible to hide. And now? The world is watching to see what happens next. Does Harry continue defending everything no matter the cost? Or does he finally step back and reevaluate the people around him? Because if there's one lesson history keeps teaching over and over again, it's this. Love can blind people. Grief can blind people. Loneliness can blind people. And sometimes the hardest truth to face is realizing the people warning you weren't trying to hurt you at all. They were trying to save you. Maybe that realization comes tomorrow. Maybe years from now. Or maybe never. But one thing is certain. This story is no longer just about royalty. It's about loyalty. Identity. Trust. And the devastating consequences of defending someone before fully understanding who they really are. And somewhere inside all of this is still the little boy walking behind his mother's coffin, searching for someone he could trust completely. That's why this story continues to resonate with millions of people around the world. Because beneath the titles, the headlines, and the controversy, it feels painfully human. And the next chapter? It may change everything. So what do you think? Will Harry eventually see the situation differently, or will he keep defending Meghan no matter what happens next? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe now, because this story is far from over.